Good day everyone. In this lessons I will talk about MX trial paper Batu Pahat 2020 paper 1. Now let's have a look on question number 1. The figure 1 shows the achievement of two classes alpha and beta in a test, and you are given with two graphs with normal distributions. You have a normal distributions with a normal curve P and also normal curve Q. So you have two different graphs. So these two normal graphs represented by the following data, class alpha and also class beta. So two classes with different marks or locations, and you have this. So anyone of you remember what does this symbol represent? Okay, right, this is standard deviations. Okay, so alpha and beta have two different value of standard deviations, 14.15 and also 25.75. So different standard deviations. We look at A, which class shows the most consistent achievement in the test? Most consistent, meaning more consistent. So how do we decide? We look at the standard deviations. Alpha with 14.15, a smaller standard deviations compared to beta. So that would mean it will provide a more consistent data. So for alpha, the standard deviation is 14.15. It will provide a more consistent data, smaller standard deviation, due to all the distribution of the marks is very close to the means. Meaning all the other marks are very close to the means. We do not have a lot of extreme value, as all are very close to the means. Therefore, you have more consistent data. And for 25.75, bigger standard deviations, therefore, conversely, less consistent data, of course, and data distributions the opposite case, spread over not a small range but a large range of values, so less consistent data. So to answer this one, which one more consistent? Alpha. So you answer class alpha. Reasons: due to smaller standard deviations. Okay, this is for A. And for B, determine the appropriate curve data representing the alpha and the beta data. We have to decide appropriate curve data. What does it mean? So do we have appropriate curve data? We do, right? Okay. So this is the curve, right? Normal curve P and Q. Look at the shape of the curve, the size of the curve. You have P and Q. P and Q, which one is slimmer? Which one is slimmer? P is slimmer, Q is wider. So when you have a slimmer graph, what does it indicate? So this is the mean for your information. This is the means. So when you have a slimmer graph, meaning the distribution of the marks is very close to the means, more consistent. When you have a wider curve, meaning is spread over, it's not very close to the means, it's less consistent. So there you know that curve P is the representing of the data for alpha, and curve Q is for the beta. You have to write inverse normal curve P is for class alpha, normal curve Q is for class beta, like this. Okay, then you have full marks. And then we move to question number 2. Alright. Okay, number 2. Given that MP3 over 2M equals to N minus 1 P2. When you look at this symbol, do you remember what is this? Alright, that's right, that is permutations. So it is something to do with permutations. We are going to apply the formula. So you have to know the question requires us to express m in terms of n. to express m as the subject, you must have equations. So we are trying to form an equation here by changing permutation to the formula base. So the formula base for NPR, you can refer to the formula list, n factorial over n minus r factorial. So we can change this one, right? So we're putting in, we are changing. But before that, you have two permutation here. Meaning those are the same thing. So usually we group the same thing on one side, right? We group the same thing on one side. So we are going to change places between 2m and also n minus 1p2, changing places. So we have np3, we are changing to this formula. So n factorial over n minus 3 factorial. Okay, we are done with np3. Now we're going to do with n minus 1p2 over, since we change places. So do we write n factorial? No, because that is not n, but n minus 1 over, again, not n, but n minus 1 minus 2 factorial equals to 2m. And you look at here, n minus 1 minus 2, that will give you n minus 3 factorial. And this is deviations. For those who know how to do simplify here, you may go ahead. Else we are changing the division between two fractions to multiplications. Then you have to swap the place of the denominator and numerator for the later fractions. So you have can you simplify it? Yeah, right? So this one and this one. And you have n factorial and also n minus 1 factorial. So when you look at it, it's almost impossible to simplify it, right? So with that, I want to introduce a new concept to you. Okay, now let's think about this. When we have 5 factorial, just an example, you can express it as 5 multiplied by 4, right? Again, 3, 2, 1. This is how you can change it. Am I right? Now I'm changing 5 factorial to some other form. Pay attention to this part. This is 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 multiplied by 3 by 2 by 1. With that, you have, right? This is 4 factorial. Of course, you must have 5 multiplied by 4 factorial. Can we change them to this form? Yes, right? It makes sense. Okay. Or we can also change this one to, look at these three parts. 3 multiplied by 2 by 1. That would mean 3 factorial. Good. And you have 5 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 3 factorial. So basically you can change to many forms. Just you have to observe the pattern of it. Okay, hopefully you can see the pattern of it. Okay. Okay, so I'm testing you. Now, I do not want to put a number, but I'm putting n factorial. Okay, why am I to do with n factorial? Because you look at here, we have n factorial and n minus 1 factorial. We cannot continue. So you have to change one of them so that we can simplify it, right? So n factorial, I can change it to n. Okay, it's just like 5. 5 factorial, I have 5. So n factorial, I have n. Multiply, to compare this one. 4 factorial, how do I get 4? 5 minus 1. So n multiplied by n minus 1. And you can put a factorial. Okay, you are changing an n factorial to n multiplied by n minus 1 factorial. Can or not? Can. Okay, now to enhance your understanding on these parts, I give you more example. So if I have n factorial, I can have n multiplied by n minus 1. If I want to make it stop, I put a factorial. But if I want to continue, to expand it, I continue with what? What do I put? n minus 1 followed by minus 1 minus 1. So you have n minus 2. And then you put a factorial as a stop. And that's it. Of course, you can continue with n minus how many? Minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. You have minus 3, and then you end it with factorial. So now can you see the patterns? How do we change it? Okay, we are changing to this form so that we can simplify it. Okay, we have n factorial equals to n multiplied by n minus 1 factorial. Yeah, let's change it. We're changing this to n bracket n minus 1 factorial. Now can we simplify it? Yes, right, here. So what do we have on the left hand side? You have only n equals to 2m. The answer requires us to express m in terms of n. So therefore m equals to n over 2. Sorry, this is the answer. Okay, number 2, done. We go to number 3. The mean of 8 numbers is 8. Okay, so mean symbol. The mean is 8. The mean is p. Sorry, and the sum of the square of the numbers is 2, 3, 2. Sum of the square of the numbers is 2, 3, 2. Okay, so meaning sum of the square you have 2, 3, 2. Right? Given that the variance is k, so variance symbol. You have to express p in terms of k. So to express p in terms of k, you must have a equations. Okay, so we're using the equation for, because you have variance, you have sum of square, you also have mean. So to associate them, we can use variance. The variance formula, hopefully you all remember, variance equals to the sum of square, right, over n, number of terms, minus the square of the means. Okay, mean. Okay, then now we putting in all we have. So variance k, sum of square 2, 3, 2 divided by number of terms. How many we have? Right, 8 numbers. So divided by 8 minus the mean, which is the p squared. You have an equation now. Can you simplify 2, 3, 2 divided by 8? What do you have? 29. So you have k equals to 29 minus p squared. And then you need to express p in terms of k. So rearrange it. P squared equals to 29 minus k. We don't stop here because what we need is p. So p equals to square root 29 minus k. And that is your answer. Alright. We go on with number 4. Table shows the distribution of a marks of a group of students in an additional max test. So you have the marks range, start from 20 and with 79. And you have a cumulative frequencies. So my first question here, when you look at the table, can you tell how many students in total? Right? The answer is 80. There are 80 students in the test. Okay, Mr. AD, the subject teacher, intends to give reward to the best 20 students. Determine the minimum mark should one obtains for them to be the best 20 students to receive the rewards. So 80 students in total, we need to find the best 20 out of 80. Now, think about this. 20 out of 80. Isn't that 1 over 4? My question to you, are we looking for Q1, first quartile? Are we looking for Q1? What do you think? Think about this. Best 20 students, is it Q1s? Now, the answer is, it's not Q1, but Q3. You're looking for Q3, because you're looking for the minimum mark. So, best 20 students, is it the first 20 students? No, right? It is not the first 20. You're looking for the top 20. If you're looking for the first 20, yes, Q1s, but Q1 will only give you the low performing students, 20 low performing students. That is not the best 20. So if you want to find the top 20, that is between Q3 to Q4. Am I right, the students? Between Q3 and Q4. But we need to find the minimum mark. So minimum mark, we're looking for Q3 lah. Q3, minimum mark. Q4 is already maximum mark. So Q3, looking for Q3. So how many students we have? 80 students looking for Q3. 60, number 60. Okay. So can you tell, since you have a cumulative frequency, so number 60, which group, which class? Here lah, 72, because periods we have 53, not enough. 70 is within this group. 60 to 69 marks. So the marks is in this range lah. The marks is in this range. You can refer to the median formula. The medians are, to find the median you have a formula, right? Apply that one. Sorry. So you have the lower boundary for this class size, for this class, that would be 59.5 between 59 and 60, plus, okay, plus 60 Q3. Let's say median is 40 lah, but Q3 is 60 lah. 60 minus the cumulative frequency before that. Before that, that would be 53, not 72. 53 over the current frequency. Do we have the current frequency? Yes, but we have not listed it out. So if we were to list out the frequency, right here, so the first one is 5. The second one, you minus it. 13, followed by 21, 14, 19, am I right? And 8. So the current cumulative frequency, 19, 60 to 69. So you put 19 multiply by the class size. What is the class size? The differences between lower and also upper boundary. So 69.5 multiply minus 59.5, 10 is the class size. Okay, now you just put everything into your calculator. 7 over 19 multiplied by 10. 59.5 plus, oops, sorry, and what do we have? 63.18. Okay, fair enough. So that is the minimum marks. Minimum marks one needs to obtain to be the best 20 students to obtain the rewards. Okay, 63.18, and that's all. Okay, a conical container with radius with half of its height. A conical container, what is the shape of the container? A cone, a cone. So maybe you can draw it if you need it, sir, for visualizations. The radius, which is half of the height, is filled with water. So you have the height, and you also have the radius here. If you do not call it R, the radius, you can also call half of the height. So you also can call it H over 2. R or H over 2 lah. At the same time, water seems to leak away from the vertex of the cone. If the level of the water decrease from 4 to 3.9 cm, this is change of what? This is change in height, right? So this is approximate change in height. So that is how many? The final minus the initial height. So the final height is 3.9. So 3.9 minus 4, so you have negative 0.1 cm for change in height. Okay, now you need to find the approximate change in the volume. So approximate change in volume, question mark. And you are given with the volume of the cones. So hopefully you all remember this. Change in V, if you want to find this, and you also have change in H. Okay, change in Y, change in V over change in H equals to dV dH. Remember this? Okay, to have differentiations, dV dH, you need to have the equation of V and H. properly we can refer to this one. Okay, now we have V equals to 1 over 3 pi r square h. You have a little problem here. What is that? Look at these equations. You have more than one variable. You have r and also h. So you cannot differentiate it. So you need to change lah, because what we need is h in the end. We are changing r in terms of h. So r equals to this one. R equals to h over 2. Half of the height. So you can replace it. R h over 2 square h. And after you expand it, you have 4, 3, 12, 1 over 12 pi h cubed. Okay, and then you differentiate it, dv dh 3 over 1 over 12, 1 over 4 pi h squared. Okay, and then to find change in v, you can have dv dh multiplied with change in h. Okay, so we are using this one. Okay, now I put it here. dv dh 1 over 4 pi h squared. H is what? When h is equals to 4. From 4 cm, right, initially. So you put 4 squared. Multiply by change in height, which is negative 0.1. Okay, just get this in calculator lah, or you can simplify it here. So 4, 4. So you have 4 left. 4 multiplied by negative 1. So you have negative 0.4 pi. Okay? Negative 0.4 pi. Or you can give it in decimal if you want. Without the pi also can. So negative 0.4 pi. That is number 5. And for number 6, find the value of, okay, this is a bit interesting. This is limit, differentiation. When x is very close to infinity, what is the answer? Okay, just want you to know, if let's say this is not infinity but some other numbers, for example 2, x very close to 2, then you just sub in 2 to replace x and you calculate the value for it. That is the case. But for infinity, it's a bit special the case. You need to do more things before you start. Okay, I want you to remember, what is the concept of infinity? It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, expanding, right? So it's very big, it's very huge, that cannot be counted because it's infinity. Okay, so that is one thing that you need to remember. So when we have a very small number, very small number, says 1. So, 1 over infinity. Or you have 20 over infinity. 20 is considered very small, right? Compared to infinity, even 200 is also very small. So when you have 1, 20, 200 over infinity, okay, some number over infinity, a very huge number, your answer would be very close to, very close to 0, or we regard as 0. Okay, except infinity divided by infinity, another case. For this standard, SPM standards, what you need to remember, 1 over infinity, 20 over infinity, 200 over infinity, always equals to 0. So you can utilize this concept. Okay, so now you have a look. Here 3x, here 2 minus x. You have unknown or variable in the numerator and also denominator. So when you have 3 multiply infinity, no, we don't have this. So what I need you to do when you have this one, you remember, no variable that no variable as numerator when you have x to be replaced by infinity. Infinity, only for infinity, Okay, so if you want to, in simple way, I just do not want to have variable on top, the top of the fractions. No, we don't want that. Okay, so if you don't want that, you divide by x, and then this one also divide by x. Again, top divided by x, bottom also divided by x. So you have 2 divided by x, and then like this. Then you simplify it. No more x. What do you have? 1. Okay. And then you put in infinity. So you have 3 over 2 over infinity minus 1. And remember, 2 over infinity, 0. Final answer, negative 3. Okay, this is how you sort out for this kind of question. When x is very close to infinity, you do like this. Okay, now we go to the next questions. So find the dv du for this equation, dv du. So you have u and v at the bottom as the denominator. Is a bit hard. Usually we don't like this kind of case. So to make sure we don't have fraction anymore, we can multiply something. So I will choose 3uv. This is the lowest common multiple between uv and 3. So I multiply with 3uv. So I have 3v plus 3u equals to uv. vu, dv du. So v in terms of u. So v in one group. V in one group. Okay. Now factorize v. Okay, this is what you have. V equals to negative 3u over 3 minus u. Or you can change it to this minus multiply, this minus, this negative sign. You can put it at the bottom and you have 3u over u minus 3. Okay, you can also leave it that way, up to you. And afterward, you apply the formula. Hopefully you remember u over v, u over v, dv du. So dv du equals to v. Okay. Differentiate 3u. Okay. And then you put u. Differentiates v. You have 1. Followed by v squared. Okay. Can So 3u minus 9 minus 3u. And cut it off. Your final answer. Okay. Diagram 7 shows shaded regions. This is the shaded regions bounded by the graph y equals to hx and the axis from A to B. Okay. It is given that 3f prime x equals to hx and integrates fx from B to A equals to negative 5. We need to find the area of the shaded region. So to find the area of shaded region, which is here, and you know that this area is the area under this graph, graph of hx. So to find the area under the graph, which concept are we using? Right, we are using integrations. Okay, so to find the shaded regions, the area of shaded regions, we need to integrate hx, okay, along the x-axis, so dx. From which limits? From A to B. So you write BA. So we are looking for this one. This is the area of shaded regions. Okay, and do continue and proceed with this hx. We know that hx equals to 3f prime x. Can we replace hx with 3f prime x? Yes, of course. Then we have right here, we have BA 3f prime x dx. What I do, I only change from hx to 3f prime x because they are the same thing, equal value. Okay, so whenever you have a constant here, you can always bring it out here. Okay, so we have 3, and then you pay attention to these two. when you integrate f prime x, you integrate f prime x, and what do you have? Of course, you have fx, right? Because when you differentiate fx, you have f prime x. So when you integrate f prime x, you have fx with the same limits ba and 3 in front, multiply lah. And this is what you have for now. This is what you have for now. Okay, and then we refer to this one. Is that very similar? It's very similar to this one. The only thing different here is that this is BA, this is AB. The limits are different. Okay, from A to B, from B to A. So in order to leverage on this one, we need to change this. We need to change this one. Okay, says we have to change the range. Let's say I'm going to swap the range. Okay, of course I can do that. It's just that I need to put in a, what do I need to put in? I need to put in a negative sign here, right? Okay, and then you continue. Okay, BA. This negative sign, you can move to the other side, and you have how many? You have 5. Okay, now it's the same thing. fx BA equals to 5. So here, 3, this one how many? fx BA equals to 5. So you put in 5, and you have 15 units for the area of the shaded regions. Okay, that is for A. Now we look at B. The graph of y equals to hx plus 2, 1, 1. Okay, that is another one. And D hx equals to negative 3x squared plus 5x minus 1. So when you hx, meaning hx is the this is actually when you hx is differentiate hx lah. When you differentiate hx, that would be h prime x, right? You differentiate h, you have h prime x with negative 3x squared plus 5x minus 1. Okay, so if you want to find hx, you need to integrate it. You need to integrate negative 3x squared plus 5x minus 1 dx. And what you have? Negative 3 over 3x cubed 5 over 2x squared minus x. Is that all? No, plus c. So this is the hx. But you have one unknown here, which is the constant. You need to figure it out. How do we figure it out? We have a coordinate 1, 1. You can put in, substitute the coordinates for the x and y value, and then you find the value of c, and then you will write the whole equations, and that is the answer. Okay, so we write everything again. So 1, hx equals to 1, when here how many? Here negative 1, negative x cubed lah. So negative 1, replace x, so x cubed plus 5 over 2 x squared, 1 squared minus 1 plus c, and you have okay, find the value of c. So 1 plus 1 minus 5 over 2 plus 1 over 2. So the c is 1 over 2. You don't stop here because you need to write the equations. Okay, you write hx equals to you can refer to this one, negative x cubed plus 5 over 2x squared minus c plus 1 over 2, and that is the answer. Okay, negative x cubed plus 5 over 2x squared minus x plus 1 over 2. That is the equation of hx in terms of x. Okay, we move on to the next questions. Okay, this one. Okay, this is very special. This is very special. This is about understanding on concept. Now state the magnitude. Magnitude means distance, the length. The length of what? The length of a unit vector in the directions. Okay, hold on. Do we look at 2p and q? You go backwards. Unit vector. Unit vector means how many units? 1 unit. So 1 unit meaning the dimension and the magnitude is how many? 1. A unit vector, how long is 1 unit vector? 1 unit. Okay. You get what I'm trying to say? You want to find the magnitude, the length of 1 unit vector. How long is length? 1 unit. Okay, so that is the answer. So you have the magnitude equals to 1, or you can write 1 units. That's it, just concept. Okay, now we look at B. P, you have negative 4i 3j. Okay, here given that find the value of k such that p plus 3q is parallel to x equals to k. So we combine the vector first. P plus 3q, you have negative 4, 3 plus 3k2. Combine them. Okay, this is what you have. And then you know that this vector, the resultant vector, is parallel to x equals to k. Okay, x equals to k. Can you, do you remember? X equals to k. Is that a vertical straight line, horizontal straight line, or diagonal straight line? Think about this. Which one? X equals to k. Let's say this is x equals to k, meanings the answer is a vertical straight line. Am I right? This vertical straight line is parallel to the vertical axis. Okay, so when you know that this resultant vector, this one, is parallel to this one, x equals to k, meaning this resultant vector cannot go left, right, cannot go left hand side, cannot go right hand side, it can only go up or go down, because x equals to k is a vertical straight line. It's not going to left, it's not going to right. Okay, it's going up or going down. So in other words, what equals to 0? I equals to 0 or j equals to 0? I equals to 0 or j equals to 0? I, because I is left, right? And now this resultant vector is not going to left, not going to right. So this has to be 0. This has to be 0, and then you can find the value of k. So when you have negative 4 plus 3k equals to 0, k equals to 4 over 3. Okay, and that's it. Okay, now we continue with the next ones. Diagram 9. Diagram 9 shows a parallelogram. OABC, ABD, OPC, DCB are straight line. OA vector is 6A. OA, the vector is 6A. So OA, this is 6A. OC, the whole thing is 12C. And then OPBC 3, 1. OP3, PC1. Okay, you have a ratio. So when you have a ratio, you can change 12C. Because 12C is the 4 parts, O to C. And O to C, you can break it to 3, 1, 4 parts. So you can change 12C to 12C divided by 4 parts, you have 3C, 1 part is 3C. So this part you can label as 3C. This part you can label as 9C. Total 12C. Okay, OP 9C, PC 3C. Okay, this is what you know. And then what we need to find? Vector AP. A to P. A to P. So vector AP equals to AO plus OP. Can or not? Can. AO is different directions. Opposite direction, negative 6a. OP is 9c. So negative 6a plus 9c. This is A lah. Done. Okay, now we look at the second part. Given the area of triangle PDC is 4 units, this is 4, the area of PDC. And the perpendicular distance from A, perpendicular distance A to BD is 5 units. Find the magnitude of A. Okay. Before that, I zoom in for you. Now I lop off the vectors. I just put in the ratio. This is 3, this is 1. Okay. Now for now, I want you to think of similar triangle. Similar triangle. Okay, what is that? Before that, OA is parallel with DC. Is it okay? OA is parallel with DC because OABC is parallelogram. So DC is extended. So OA parallel with DC. And then you have also these lines. You have these lines. Z, alternate angle. This angle equals to which one? Equals to this one. Right? Alternate angle. And then this one. Alternate angle also. This one equals to this one. Okay. And then this line intercept with this line, and you have these two opposite angle identical. Now, what did you observe? What did you observe? These two triangles. These two triangles have the same angle, you know. All the three angles are the same. Right, the yellow and also the green triangle. And this is the case of similar triangle. When you have all three angles the same, the ratio also the same. The ratio also the same. So here 3, 1. Look at the blue color, 3, 1. So here also 3, 1. The ratio, the length is the same. So here 3, 1. Here also 3 1s. Okay, now since we know the ratio, we look at this one. So 6 is 0 to A, 0A vector 6A. 6A is ratio 3. 6A is ratio 3. Now DC is ratio 1. Can you tell what is a vector for DC? Can, right? You can tell, right? Ratio part. So that is 3, that is 1. So DC, the vector is 2A. Okay? And then you look at OA. OA and CB, the vector same or not? OA, CB. Same, parallelogram. So CB, the vector is also 6A. Okay, Okay. Can? Okay, now you have, I lop off the similar triangle. Okay, now there is another similar triangle. Another. I want you to look at these two triangles. DPC also. DPC and DAB. How do I know these two are similar triangle? How do I know? Okay. So first thing, DPA is a straight lines, and also DCB is a straight lines. So you have something like this. Okay, this is a straight line, these are straight lines. And then these two lines is parallel. These two lines is parallel. then you can say triangle ABC is similar to triangle ADE, provided these two parallel. So we check PC and AB parallel or not? PC and AB parallel because it's a parallelogram. So these two also similar triangle. Okay, so many things. Not what first, So when you know these two triangles, similar triangle, so even the area also in ratio. Even the area also in ratio. Okay, you tell me. DC, the length for DC is 2A. The length of TC, the vector for DC is 2A, right? And the vector for D to B is how many? Not 6A, right? D to B is 8A because 6A plus 2A, 8A. So 8A to 2A, what is the ratio? 1 to 4. So the ratio between these two triangles, 1 to 4. So the area for this small triangle is 4. 1 to 4. The area for the big triangle, 16. So the area of DAB is 16. The area for DAB is 16. Is it given? It's not given. So you have to calculate that. The area for DAB is 16. Why do I need to know this one? Okay, now we only look at this triangle. We only look at this triangle. Sketch this out. Hold on. When you have a triangle, if you want to get the area, do you remember the formula of area? That would be the height and also the base, right? Okay, 1 over 2 multiply the height. The height is 5 units. Multiply with the base is 8A vectors. So A vectors, if you want to find the magnitudes, you do like this. And you know the area is 16. Then you can find the magnitude of A. Then you can find the magnitude of A. So now here you have 20, 16, magnitude of A. You have the answer 4 over 5. Okay, so this vector topic is a lot about similar triangle. When you have two similar triangles, all the angles are the same. So the ratio is the same for the length and also for the area. Remember this. Okay, we go on with number 10. Number 10, a sample space X and its subset ABCD are defined as follows. So the sample space, everything, so you have all elements of 1 to 6, and A with 6 and B, C, D, and the following. The first thing you need to state the number of A intercept with B. Intercept same elements. A and B, is it any same elements? Any same member? No, right? So the number of A intercept with B, 0. Okay? And this one easier to be understood, right? Okay, B, you have to check the two events, which is exhaustive but not mutually exclusive. Understanding about concept. What is exhaustive? When you say two sets are exhaustive, when let's call it X, X union Y, when set X union set Y, that is everything you have. That is the sample space. Then they are exhaustive. X union Y equals to sample space, they are exhaustive. Mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive meaning when you have X intercept with Y between two sets and it's an empty set. Meaning you do not have X intercept with Y, you do not have that, and that is mutually exclusive, then equals to empty set. Okay, so now we are looking for the first thing first, remember, exhaustive but not mutually exclusive. Now we look at exhaustive first. Exhaustive meaning X union Y equals to everything, sample space, X union Y. We try with A first. Okay. A and B. When A union B, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I right? Is it sample space? Is it everything you have? Yes. So A and B, exhaustive. A and B, exhaustive. Pass the first criteria. We check any other pair with exhaustive or not. AC can or not? AC cannot. You need another ones. AD can or not? AD cannot. Okay. Then you check BC. BC can or not? Cannot. BD can or not? BD can. When B union D, sample space. CD cannot. And then that's it. So you have two options now. Huh? A and B or B and D. Both are exhaustive. Both are exhaustive. Now, mutually exclusive. Not mutually exclusive means X intercept Y is not empty sets. It's not empty set. Meaning adalah. You have the intersection between the two sets. Okay, we only check these two lah. A and B. Easy man. Because both of them only pass. So A intercept B. So A intercept B, you look at A and B. Other intercept, do you have intersection between them? No. It's an empty set. It's an empty set. Okay, B intercept with D. So you look at B and D. B 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you have intersection? Yes, 3, 4, 5. So B intercept D is not an empty set, not mutually exclusive. So the only pair approved, B union D equals to sample space, exhaustive. B intercept D is not an empty set, not mutually exclusive. So the answer is only B and D. Fulfill two criteria. Exhaustive and not mutually exclusive. Okay, and then now we look at C. Check two events that are mutually exclusive but not exhaustive. You can of course you can check one by one, but since you have worked out this one, I think we can get the answer there. Okay, so not exhaustive. So you check this one, A and B, B and D. Are they exhaustive? They are exhaustive. Okay, we cannot use this one, sorry. We have to check one by one. We check the first one, mutually exclusive. Okay. A and B, any interceptions? No. A and C? No. A and D? Yes. 6 is the interceptions. So A intercept D. Oh, mutually exclusive. Sorry. So we are looking for no interceptions. So A and B mutually exclusive. A and C mutually exclusive. A and B mutually exclusive. A and C mutually exclusive. Right? Yes. A and D, no. A and D, you have interceptions. And then we check A and C, no. We check B and C. B and C, you have interceptions, cannot. B and D, you have interception, cannot. C and D, you have interception, cannot. So we are looking only for D. A and B and A and C. Okay, now we look at the second part, not exhaustive. So we find A union B. A union B, is it sample space? Yes, sample space. A union C, is it sample space? Not sample space. Okay. Then we choose which ones? Mutually exclusive. So this one, okay. Not exhaustive, meaning not sample space. So this one not sample space. Not exhaustive. So the only criteria, the only pair fulfill these two criteria, set A and set C. Okay, then we move on to 11. Diagram 11 shows a curve of y equals to 3 sine x minus 4 sine qx for 0 to 180, only to 180, and then this is the graph. It's also known that the graph can be written as y equals to sine bx. Remember, y equals to sine bx. This b, what do we use to decide? B is a constant. Let's say the b is 2x. What does it mean, b? When you have 2x, meaning you have 2 full circles, right? 2 full circles of the graph. Between 0 to how many? 360. If let's say you have sine 2x, let's say you have sine 2x, you have 2 full circles. Now we don't know the value for b, it's a constant. So we can refer to the graph lah, see how many full circles. But when you look at the graph is only until 180. So if we extend it, so this is only half. So I imagine half, then I have like this, I have like this, I have like this. This is full, this is full circle. Half, just now half. So now you have another half. So same thing, left, right, same thing. So how many circles? Full circles. Sine x, this is the graph of sine x. 1 circle, 2 circle, and 3 circle. So 3 full circle. So what is the value for b? The value for b should be 3 should be 3. So because this is this should be regarded as y equals to sine 3x. So the b equals to 3. Okay, now hand solve the equations. Okay, so when you look at this equation, 6 sine x equals to 8 sine squared, 6 sine qx plus 1 equals to 0. It's very similar to this one. It's very similar to this one. Definitely, we can change it to that form and see what we can do. Okay, we start with 6. Okay, to change to these ones, I group them at one side. Three, 4. This one 3, 4. This one 6, 8. So we can factorize it. Take out 2. Then you have the same thing. 3 sine x minus 4 sine qx. 3 sine x minus 4 sine qx. So same thing. And you can change this one to what? You can change this one to y equals to sine 3x, right? Because it can be also written as sine bx. And you know b equals to 3. That is sine 3x. So you can change this one to 2 brackets sine 3x equals to 1. And sine 3x equals to 1 over 2. Then you can find the reference angle. 3x equals to sine inverse 1 over 2. You find the reference angle, Oh, sorry. Shift sine. You have 30. Okay, beautiful. 30 is a reference angle. So check this one. Sine 3x equals to 1 over 2. So it's a positive value. Do you still remember the quadrant thingy? The quadrant, Q1, Q2, Q3. All signs feature crazy. So you have all positive, sine positive, tan to be positive, and cosine to be positive. So in order for sine to be positive here is either Q1 or Q2. So for Q1, the reference angle 30, and then Q2 150, 130 minus 180 minus 30. So you have 150. Okay, do we stop here? You look at the range. The range is between 0 to 180 for x. Now we are dealing with 3x. So multiply with 3. And you have 450, the range. So can you continue? Yes, of course, because the range until 450 for 3x. So you continue. So now you have Q1 and Q2 already. So another case would be another circle. Another circle will be 360. So 30 plus 360, you have 390. Okay, 150 plus 360, you have 510. Can you continue? No. Because when you add another 360, that will be definitely more than 540. So you stop there. 3x equals to 4 answers. What you want to know is x. So x equals to or divided by 3. X squared, 50, 130, 170. That is the value for x. Okay? Now we go to number 2. Number 12. Diagram 2, OPX is an isosceles triangle. Okay. OQR is a sector of a circle. OPPQ 2, 3. That's the ratio. And the length of arc QR is 13 cm. Find the area of the shaded regions. Okay. The arc, you know, the arc is S, right? And the radius you don't know, but you know the radians for the degree, 0.52. So you can use this formula. So 13 equals to R bracket 0.52 and R equals to 25. Beautiful. 25 cm for the radius. And where is the radius? The radius is here, right? O to Q, radius. So OQ is radius, OR also radius. OQ is 25 and you have ratio 2 and 3. So 5 parts. 25 divided by 5, 1 part 5 cm, 2 part 10 cm, 3 part 15 cm. Okay. And you need to find the area of shaded regions. So what we're using is, you need to have the area of what? Area of sector QOR. So area of sector QOR minus the area of triangle POS. Oh, sorry. Triangle POS, and then you will get the shaded regions. Okay, so we figure out one by one. Sector for QOR, the formula 1/2 R squared. R is 25. Theta 0.52 minus the area for POS. So POS here, this is 10, this is 10. Okay, so you can use the area of triangle 1/2 AB sine C. So your A is 10, your B is 10, sine C. You need to find the degree here. So I zoom in. This one and this one you know just now, 0.52. So 0.52, if you want to change to degree, let's figure out what is the degree. To 29.79. So this is 29.79. Okay, now we need to find this one times 280 minus answer 120.52 42. Okay, and then you put in everything here into your calculator and you find the answer for area of sector. 0.5 multiplied by 25 squared multiplied by 0.52 minus 0.5 multiplied 100 multiply sine 120.42 119.38 cm square. Okay, that is 12. And we go on with number 13. Alright, now question 13 shows part of the graph of y against x for the equation of y equals to ab power x. So this is the graph. And when you look at the equation and the graph, you know that this is a non-linear graph, right? And we go on with A, sketch the straight line. So we are changing a non-linear to a linear graph, because you need to sketch the straight line graph of log 2y against x. Changing a non-linear to linear graph, this is a topic of linear law. Okay, so we start with the non-linear equations, and then your goal is to change to log 2y against x, vertical and also horizontal axis. So you can have a look on the expected output. Your expected output with log 2y, so you need to include log 2 the base 2 for log. So log 2 you can put it on the left hand side and therefore the right hand side. And then AB multiply, break it to log 2a multiply, so it's a plus between the log, same base. And then the power, you can bring it down, put it in front, so you have log 2b, this is your m, if you know what I'm trying to say, and this is your x, and this is your c. Y, capital Y equals to mx plus c. Because of this log 2y against x. So this is log 2y, your vertical axis. This is your x, your horizontal axis. Y and x. Capital Y and capital X. So this is the formula, non-linear linear form. So you need to sketch the graph. So sketching the graph, first you can draw the axis. Oh, sorry. Okay, then you can label the vertical axis and also horizontal axis. Log 2y against x, you must know the first one is the vertical. So this is log 2y and this is x. And then straight line, so it's a straight line. So you need to label the y-intercept, and the y-intercept is log 2a. So can you figure out log 2a? Turn it to a number so that we know the y-intercept. So we have a look on what information do we know. Look at this one, you have the coordinates for the non-linear 1, 8 and also 3, 64. So we can sub in these two coordinates into the non-linear equations. Are we right? Okay, so I put in and see what information do I have. So y equals to abx. 8 equals to ab power how many? X is 1, so 1. 364. 64 equals to ab how many? Power for b? 3. So you have two equations now. Okay, now you have two equations. 8 equals to AB1, 64 equals to AB3. So to continue, what you can do is you can have number 2 divided by number 1. So 64 divided by 8. 8 equals to AB3 divided by AB1. Simplify it. So you have 8 equals to b squared, b equals to square root 8. Okay, now find the value for a also, since we have b. So look at this one, we sub in b here. So 8 equals to ab, since b is square root 8. Okay, 8 equals to a multiplied with square root 8 by having a look on these equations. Do you know what is the value for a? Quite obvious, right? If you understand what I'm saying. By looking at this, I know that the value for a is square root 8. Because square root 8 multiplied with square root 8, you have 8. Okay, no worries. If you do not want to do this way, what you can do is a equals to 8 divided by square root 8. You can get this in your calculator and you have square root 8. Okay, so a and b is the same value. We go back to this one. Why do I need to know the value for a and b? Because I need to plot the y-intercept. So log 2a. Log 2a equals to log 2 square root 8. So we continue. This is we have 2 and also 8. Change them to the same base. So 2 power of, in order to become 8, 2 power of 3, right? And then afterwards you have square roots. So 3 over 2. Log 2, 2 power 3 over 2. Can square root 1 over 2. 2 power 3. 3 multiplied 1 over 2. 2 power 3 over 2. And then this one, you can put it in front. You can have 3 over 2 log 2, 2. So log 2, 2, 1. So the answer 3 over 2. So C equals to 3 over 2. I can draw the graph already. And never mind, before that, let's figure out the gradient here. M is also log 2b. Log 2b equals to log 2a. Because b and a is the same. So log 2b also 3 over 2. So now I know everything. I write down I have log 2y equals to 3 over 2x plus 3 over 2. The C is 3 over 2. The M is 3 over 2. The M is positive. So you know the line is inclining. Something like this, inclining. And it touches the intercept of 3 over 2. So I can draw the straight line like this, inclining. Let's say the M is negative, you know that it is declining. Okay, this is how I know. And then I put it as 3 over 2, y-intercept. Is it enough? Straight line with y-intercept? If you want to be more safe, you can have one more coordinates. One more coordinate at any point. You put in and you figure out. Okay? So what number should you put in? Up to you. Because now we have y equals to mx plus c. The m I know, 3 over 2. The c also I know, 3 over 2. So I just need to put in and then get my x and y. So when my x equals to 1, my y equals to 3 over 2 multiplied by 1 plus 3 over 2. I have how many? 6 over 2, I have 3. So you have one coordinate, 1, 3. You can label 1, 3. I think that's enough already. Sketching. Y-intercept, another coordinates. Horizontal axis, vertical axis, that's all. That is on the sketching part. Okay, now hence state the value for log 2b. Okay, log 2b, do we know already? Yes, we know already. Just now what we get? Okay, a equals to square root 8, so b also square root 8, and log 2 square root 8 equals to 3 over 2. You can write the workings here, and that's it for question 13. We go on with question 14. Given that 4, 2, 1 over 1 and 1 over 2 is a geometric progressions. Okay, GP, so we're looking for the R. So the R here divided by 2 is 1 over 2. Okay, Find the sum of first n plus 2 term for a GP in terms of n. So for S, sum of the n term, we know. But how about sum of the n plus 2 term? And we have two formulas for this depending on the R. Since the R is 1 over 2 less than 1, so we are applying on this formula. Okay? It's just that pay attention to this one. First n plus 2, we are going to replace the n here with n plus 2. Okay, A, what is the first term? 4. And the R, 1 over 2, n plus 2. Okay, so you put in everything that we have lah, and then you simplify it. Okay, look at this part. 1 minus 1 over 2, you have 1 over 2. 4 divided by 1 over 2, you have 8. So you have 8 bracket 1 minus 1 over 2 power n plus 2. Okay, can we further simplify it? Yes, remember here, when the indices n plus 2, that would be 1 over 2 power n multiplied by 1 over 2 power 2. Okay. This is what you have. And then you expand it. You have 8 minus 8 multiplied by how many? 1 over 4. Why do I group them together? 1 over 4 is from 1 over 2 square, huh? Because you can simplify it. And then multiply 1 over 2n. And your final answer, this is your answer for 14a. Okay. Now we look at 14b. 14b, huh? Find the minimum value of n if the differences minus between the sum of the first n plus 2 terms. Okay, we have this already. Sum of the first n plus 2 term and the sum of the first n term, which is less than 3 over 32. Okay, understand the questions, the difference. The difference between the sum of n plus 2 term, sum of the first n plus 2 term, minus the sum of the first n term, it is always less than 3 over 32. That is the meaning of it. Okay, now we have the answer for this one. We just have to figure out the answer for these ones. Okay, I write here. Okay, can we use this formula? Of course, because now we are doing Sn and everything else is the same. A is the same, the R is the same, it's just that the n is different. Okay, since we can pakai this one, we can use this one. Can we use this one also? We can use this one also. Okay, and then afterwards, can we use this one also? Of course, we can use this one. So we can write Sn equals to 8 brackets 1 minus 1 over 2. Okay, instead of putting n plus 2, this is Sn, because this is Sn plus 2, right? Sn plus 2, you put n plus 2. Sn you put n only lah. Okay? And then after that, you expand in. You expand, you have what do you have? You have 8 minus 8 1 over 2 power n's. Okay, now you need to find the differences. Okay, we find the differences. Okay, we combine them now. Okay, Sn plus 2 minus Sn less than 3 over 32. Sn plus 2. 8 minus 2 bracket 1 over 2n minus 8. Okay, bracket first. Minus 8 bracket 1 over 2 power n less than 3 over 32. We're just putting in everything that we know. Everything that we know. Okay, and then we simplify it. Plus pay attention to this part. Pay attention to this part. Okay, now 8 minus 8 no more. I would like to change these two. Change the place. the positions, easier for you to see. So you have 8 bracket 1 over 2n minus 2 1 over 2n less than 3 over 32. Okay, and then can you tell me how do you simplify? 8 bracket 1 over 2n minus 2 bracket 1 over 2n, you have 8 minus 2, right? Because you have the common factor of 1 over 2 power n. And what do you have? You have 6. And can you move the number of 6 to the other side? Yes, of course. Oh, no more space. So I will continue here. So what do I have? 1 over 2n less than 3 over 32 divided by 6, which is 1 over 6. And what do you have? 1 over 64. And then to figure out the power, the value for n, you have to remember this. What you can do first is the indices. Also, what you can do if you want to find the value for unknown, which is as a power, you can use logarithms. Okay, you can use log. So in this case, we will use log base 10. Okay, so LG 1 over 2 power n less than LG 1 over 64. Okay, and this power n, you can bring it down. When you bring it down, that would be n bracket LG 1 over 2 less than LG 1 over 64. And be careful, when you type log 1 over 2, 1 over 2, which is 0.5, check the answer. I'm not asking you to put in this answer. I want you to pay attention on this one. That is a negative sign. So when you about to move a negative value to the other side, what happened to these inequalities? This is the part you have to pay attention. You have to change the directions. So n equals to LG 1 over 64 divided by LG 1 over 2. And see what you have. Log 1 over 64 divided by log 1 over 2. And you get the answer, you get 6. Beautiful answer. So you know that n must be more than 6. N must be more than 6. So there are many answers. It could be 7, it could be 7.5. Okay, it could be 8, it could be 9. Can it be 7.5? No, because n is an integer whole number. So it could be 7, 8, 9, 10 onwards. Okay, so we have so many answers. What do we do? We look at here. Find the minimum value of n. Minimum value of n must be bigger than 6. And n's minimum equals to 7. Okay, the minimum value for n must be 7. And that is for 14. Okay, now we look at 15. Let me clear. Okay, we look at 15. Before we continue, I just want you to know there's some typo with this answer. It's not 190. According to the marking scheme, it should be 126. We can never get 190, so it's 126. Okay, this is a arithmetic progressions. So you have the first term, negative 21s, negative 16, negative 11s, and so on and so forth. State the 4 consecutive terms in the progression will sum up to 190. Okay, so we know the first term, we don't know which term. The 4 consecutive terms, when you add up, you have 126. But what you can do is the concept part. I don't know which term, so term n plus term n followed by n plus 1 after that, and followed by term n plus 2 plus term n plus 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we know it's always equals to 126, and we can find the terms. Okay, remember AP, the term A plus n minus 1d, we're using this one. So the A is negative 21, so I put in the first one, this one, negative 21 plus n minus 1, and the d, what is the d here? 5. Okay, so 5, this is the first term, plus, not the first term, this is the first, this is tn, and tn plus 1, negative 21 plus n minus 1, not minus 1, but minus what? Look at this one, this is n plus 1. When you put n plus 1 into this n, you have n plus 1 minus 1, and you have only n. Can. And then follow the third one. Okay, negative 21 plus, you are putting n plus 2 into n. So n plus 2 minus 1, n plus 1. Okay, oh, we know the d. So why do we need to write the d? We write 5. Now you observe the pattern. Can you tell? N minus 1 and n plus 1. So can you tell the next one? N minus 1 and n plus 1, then the next one will be n plus 2 lah. So you have okay, and we know that this equals to 126. Now we have to do the tedious part. Negative 21, negative 21, negative 21, negative 21. Okay, negative 21s, negative 21, negative 21, negative 21s. Okay, plus, no plus, minus 5, plus 5, plus 10. Okay, and then the n part, the n parts. Five n plus 5n plus 5n plus 5n equals to 126. And then you figure out negative 31, negative 21, you have negative 84, negative 84, here no more, and plus 10, negative 74. Okay, so you have negative 74 plus 20n equals to 126. Okay, you can try, and then 20n equals to 200, and n equals to 10. So we don't stop here because we only know that Tn equals to, Tn is actually T10. So we need to find T10, the value, and then T11, T12, and T13. So we find T10. T10 equals to negative 21 plus 10 minus 1 bracket 5. And you have 24. Okay, you don't have to find T11 using the formula. What you can do, 24 followed by 29, 34, and also 39. And that is the answer, the 4 consecutive terms which makes which sum up to 126. You can try, okay, you can try to get this done. Okay, 24, 29, 34, 39. Okay, now we go on to the next questions. Question 16. Okay, this is more fun, 8 power log 2x equals to 3. You need to solve the equation. Solving meaning you need to find the value for x. Now the x, the location for x is on top of the power, at the power there. Okay? So at the power there, you need to bring it down, so you need to have another log. In order to bring the power down, you need to have a log here. So what log should we have? This is 8. To make it disappear, I need to have a log base 8 power log 2x equals to log 8 3, left and right at the same time. And then why do I do this? Because this power, you can bring it down in front. So you have log 2x bracket log 8 8. And we all know log 8 equals to 1. That's the reason why I bring it down. 1 multiplied with log 2x, so you have log 2x equals to log 8 3. Okay, if you want to compare it, it's a bit hard because the base is different. So you can make it the same if you want. So base 2, base 8. It's a bit hard, right? So change them to the same base. Log 2 3, log 2 8. So log 2 8, you know 8 is 2 power of 3. And 3, bring it front, log 2 2, you have log 2 3 divided by 3 equals to log 2x. Okay? Can? And then you have 1 over 3 log 2 3 log 2x. And then this one, you bring it back to the top, so you have log 2 3 power 1 over 3 equals to log 2x. Now you can compare. And you can say that, okay, base is the same. We only look at these two. So x equals to 3 power 1 over 3. Of course, it's a bit weird, right? You have x equals to 3 power 1 over 3. You don't write that, but you can change that to the root of 3, which is cube root power 1. So it's a cube root of 3. X equals to cube root of 3. Okay, we go on with 17. Solve the equation. So again, you have a log x squared 256 minus log 2x equals to 3. So the base is different, right? The base, because you have x squared and 2 as the base, so you cannot combine them. So what you can do is to break this stuff. Again, you can break this one. So you can break it to what? Change it to base 2 because this one is base 2. So you can do that. There are more than one way. So if I change it, I have log 256 log 2x squared minus log 2x equals to 3. So here, 256, 2 power of 8. I don't think I have to show, right? If you have like this, you know that 8 have to go in front, and then here become 1, you have 8 only. So I don't have to say this. So here, you have 8. And then here, these 2, also you can bring it in front, so you have 2 log 2x minus log 2x equals to 3. Simplify it. 4 over log 2x minus log 2x equals to 3. Now you have the same thing, log 2x and log 2x. In order to continue, you can let, easier for you to understand. Okay, I'll log off this part first. Let log 2x equals to a, so you have 4 over a minus a equals to 3. To continue, multiply by a. 4 minus a squared equals to 3a. A squared plus 3a minus 4 equals to 0. You look at this one. What is this? A quadratic equation. Can you solve it? Of course, right? Okay, so a plus 4, a minus 1 equals to 0. A could be negative 4 or 1. Okay, but what we want is not a but x. But you know that log 2x equals to negative 4, 2 power negative 4 equals to x, and x equals to 1 over 16, your first answer. Or log 2x equals to 1, x equals to 2 power 1, which is 2. So the final answer is 1 over 16 and 2. Okay, so 17. And then we go on with 18th. The graph of the quadratic functions of mx squared minus 4x plus n, m and n are constant, has a maximum point. So imagine this is the graph, n-shaped, right? Because it has a maximum point. So this one we don't know, this one we don't know. Given that m is an integer, the maximum value of m. Okay, let me ask you this one. If this is n-shape, so the m is a, right? Remember the general formats. M is a. A must be positive or negative in order to have n-shaped graph. A must be negative, and A is m, right? In this case, so m must be negative, right? Negative, okay? Negative, not positive. M must be negative. So m less than 0. So m less than 0, there are many possibilities. Negative 0.5, negative 3, negative hundreds. But we know that m is an integer, so we eliminate fractions and decimal. So it cannot be 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, 5, and so on and so forth. Okay, so among all these numbers until infinity, which one has the maximum value? Maximum value, which one? Negative 1. Negative 1 is the one has the maximum value. Negative 1 and negative 2, which one bigger? Negative 1. So the answer for m is negative 1. Maximum value. Okay, by using the answer from a, meaning negative 1, so we have fx equals to negative x squared minus 4x plus n. Okay. Find the value of n. Okay, still unknown. When the graph touches x-axis at only one point. Touches the x-axis at only one point. Let's say this is the x-axis, only one point. Meaning, what? Which one do we use? Which one do we use? At one point. Anyone? Do you remember? B squared minus 4ac, okay, equals to 0. Okay, now we put on, what is the b here? The b is negative 4. So negative 4 squared minus 4, a is negative 1, c is n, equals to 0. 16 plus 4n equals to 0. 4n equals to negative 16 and n equals to negative 4. Okay, that is the value for n. And then now we have a look on question 19. Okay, if the graph of the function fx equals to ax squared plus bx plus c is a quadratic equations, and the equation for axis of symmetry at x equals to 1 plus to the point 0, 1, and also negative 1, negative 5. Find the value for a, b, c. Okay, so the first thing that we know here, so look at these ones, 0, 1. 0, 1 is that the information for x-intercept or y-intercepts. Okay, when you are not sure, you can put in 0. So f0 and replace x with 0. Okay, you will get c equals to 1. that is the y-intercept. So you know c equals to 1 now. And then you also know about this. So let's say I have f negative 1. You have a negative 1 squared plus b negative 1. So do you write plus c? No, you know the value for c plus 1. And negative 1 with negative 5. So you can have a minus b plus 1. And this is what you know. A minus b equals to negative 6. So we are not done. We need another equations to figure out the value for a and b. So this one, we haven't utilized this information. X equals to 1. What is the equation formula for axis of symmetry? X equals to negative b over 2a. You can have negative b is b itself, so 2a also. So yeah, you don't have anything to replace on. But you know that x equals to 1, so multiply 2a. 2a equals to negative b. b equals to negative 2a. Okay, you can substitute b with negative 2a. So this b you can change to negative 2a. So negative 6 equals to a minus negative 2a. Negative equals to a plus 2a. You have 3a equals to negative 6. a equals to negative 2. Okay, so that is the answer, negative 2. a equals to negative 2. The last thing, b equals to negative 2a, and since a equals to negative 2, so b equals to 4. a equals to, write everything again, b equals to 4 and c equals to 1. That is the answer. Alright, we move on to 20. Given that the roots of the quadratic equations, you have 2x squared minus 21x plus p equals 0. P is a constant. The roots are in the ratio 1 to 2. Find the value of p. This is a very important information. When the roots are in the ratio of 1 to 2, meaning let's say I regard one of the root as alpha. Usually we use alpha and beta, right? So let's say one of the root is alpha. The other one is 2 times of it. That would be 2 alpha. 1 to 2 ratio. So alpha and 2 alpha. Okay? And then you look at the equations. 2x squared minus 21x plus p equals to 0. You have the roots. We can link to sum of roots and also the product of roots. Okay? So if you want to use that one, the formula is x squared minus SOR, sum of roots, plus POR must be equal to 0. Compare this one. Something we need to do, right? We need to divide everything by 2. And we have x squared minus 21 over 2 plus p over 2 equals to 0. There you go. 21 over 2 is sum of roots. And sum of root is between these two. So alpha plus 2 alpha equals to 21 over 2. Right? There you go. Alpha equals to 21 over 6. Okay. Is that enough? No, not enough. This is p over 2. This is product of roots. So POR equals to p over 2. Product of roots multiplying. So alpha multiplied by 2 alpha equals to p over 2. And you have 2 alpha squared equals to p over 2. Alpha, do we know the value for alpha? Yes. And the last part, p equals to 421 bracket 6 squared. Get this done by the calculator. 21 divided by 6. Okay, sorry. 21 divided by 6 and then square it, multiply by 4, 49. That is the value for P. Find the value for P. We are done with these questions. Okay, now we move to 21. Our wheel, so the circle is a wheel, with radius of RCM being placed at the corner of room. Given the distance from P to the wall are 2 cm, from P to the room floor are 1 cm, find the value of the wheel radius. Okay, I zoom in. Just now what you have, point P from the wall, 2 cm or m, I forgot, but 2 units. And point P to the floor is 1 unit. Okay, this is what you know. Imagine this is y-axis, or this is x-axis, vertical or horizontal distance, axis. How would you regard the coordinates for P? How would you regard? The distance is 2, so this is 2, right? So this is 1, right? So the coordinate for P will be 2, 1. If let's say this is the origin, okay, we can think it this way. Let's say this is the origin. Since we're using Cartesian planes in this context, then we can continue with Cartesian planes. Okay, okay. Now we need to find the radius of this wheelchair. To find the radius, maybe you can sketch a center point. You sketch a center point. Okay, remember P right here. P, the coordinate is 2, 1 now. Okay, you answer me and let me know. What is the... Is this the radius? Yes, right? This is the radius. Okay. Is this also the radius? Yes, it's a radius. Okay. Can you tell me the coordinates for this center point? Would you be able to find? Okay, I will check. What is the number here? The number here is 0 to here. That is basically the length of the radius. This one, the horizontal distance. So the x value is r. We look at the y value. The y value is this part. What is the length here? This length is basically equals to this radius. So the coordinate for this center point, RR. Can? Okay. Now I log off these two parts. Just now, what is the coordinate for P? Coordinate for P is 2, 1. Okay. Now you ask me, you answer me this one. This one, what is the distance between P and also the center point? What is the distance? The distance is, this is also radius, right? So the distance also R. So the distance between two coordinates, the center point and the point of P, point P, these 2 points, the distance is R. So you can use distance formula. Distance is R equals to square root, remember, x1 minus x2. So x1 is, for example, you have R. So R minus 2, x1 minus x2. Square plus y1 minus y2. R minus 1 bracket square. Distance formula, is it okay? And then square root move to the other side. R square equals to expand it. R square minus 4R plus 4 plus R square minus 2R plus 1. Okay, and then you simplify it. Move here and there, you have R square minus 6R plus 5 equals to 0. And what is this? Quadratic equations. Can you solve it? You have R minus 5, R minus 1, the bracket. So R could be either 1 or 5 or both. So the radius for the wheels are, that would be 1 or 5. You have to check, can we adopt both answer or only one of them or none of them? We check. Let's say the radius is 1 and 5, right? So let's say this is 1, this is 1. Then the radius for the center point is 1, 1. Is it logical? Does it make sense? The coordinate for P is already 2, 1. Can the center of the circle be 1, 1? No, it does not make sense. But what if I take in the answer of 5? The radius is 5, the radius is 5. The coordinate for the center point, 5, 5. Make sense or not? Boleh? Can? So 5 lah. You have to say the radius equals to 5. You do not include the answer for 1. It does not make sense. Okay, that's it. 22, another part of understanding of concept. 22a, determine whether the inverse functions exist for each of the following functions. Remember, in order to have inverse function, it only applies to the function which is a one-to-one functions. So if the fx is a one-to-one function, it does have inverse function, else otherwise. Okay, we check number 1, 22a1s. Y equal to fx, I will check. I have 1x, I have 1y. I have 1y, I have 1x. Yes, one-to-one function, that is an inverse functions. Let's say I draw the y here, I have 2x. 1y, I have 2x. No, not one-to-one. I draw a y here, I have 1, 2, 3. I have 3x. So, not one-to-one. So, usually it's a straight line. One-to-one function, usually it's a straight line. So, yes, no, no. Okay, yes, no, no. Part B, function f is defined of fx equals to px. So, p cannot be 1, meaning fx equals to x. That is not the case because p cannot be 1. So that is not the case. Sketch graph of the function and on the same planes. So let's say it is not 1. Can it be 2? Yes, it can be 2. Can it be negative 2x? Of course, it can be negative 2x. Okay. If you remember, let's say this is fx vertical, this is x. Let's say we have this, because we cannot have this, right? But what if we have this, fx equals to x? This will be here, right? This is fx equals to x because when okay. Because when x equals to 1, y 1. X equals to 2, y also 2. By looking at the pattern, you know it's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, negative 1, negative 1. So that is the case now. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Okay, 45 degree. So this is y. This is fx equals to x. Because now our case could be only 2x or negative 2x. Okay, now if let's say 2x, where is the graph? Negative 2x, where is the graph? We think about this. You just have to adopt one of the case. Let's choose 2x. You can choose negative 2x, no problems. Let's say we choose 2x. I build the table first. I want to see how does the graph look like. When x equals to 1, y equals to 2. You put in here. Put in here. When x equals to 2, y equals to 4. When x equals to 3, y equals to 6. 1, 2, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6. Look at this one. 1. Do I go here? 1, 2. This is 1, 1, right? Cannot. 1, 2. 2, 4. 3, 6. In general, you will know that the graph definitely it is above of this green line. Because this green line is only for fx equals to x. So if let's say you have 2x, 3x, 4x and above, this is your fx. Above, if you have negative 2x, this is the case. This is negative 2x. The other side, declining. Okay, now it's 2x is inclining. You can stay like this. And then, you need to label another function for f inverse. Let's say fx is at sorry. Let's say fx equals to 2x. F inverse x will be x over 2. Can So if they have x over 2, another graph here, x, fx. When I have 1, put in here, I have 1 over 2 for fx. I have 2, I have 1. I have 3, I have 1.5. So 1, 0.5, 2, 1, 3, 1.5. So let's say I start here, 1, 1.5. Here only. 2 is 1. 3, 1.5. So you realize that F inverse is below the green color graph. So this is your F inverse. This is your F inverse. So another saying that if you want to draw fx and F inverse, fx equals to x is the reflection between fx and also F inverse. Okay, that is for B. We go to 23. A straight line cuts the x-axis at P and Q. Okay, this is very close to intercept form. X over A plus y over B equals to 1. Let's say this is the intercept form. The only difference is the minus here. So can we change it to intercept form? Because when we know the intercept form, this is the x-intercept, this is the y-intercept. It will help us to find the gradient and y-intercept and c-intercept and x-intercept. So we change it, okay? We change it. Let's say I have x over 6. To change this negative sign to plus, I can also simply change it, right? What happened to the negative sign? You must allocate them either with negative y or either with negative x. If I put it with y, then it will be different to this one. So I will keep it with 8. So negative 8 equals to 1. Okay, now you change it. You can say x-intercept equals to 6. So x-intercept equals to 6. Y-intercept equals to negative 8. Okay. Can we find the gradient? Because we're looking for the gradients. So to find the gradient, except for y1 minus y2, x1 minus x2, we have negative y-intercept over x-intercept. And that would be negative 8 over 6, you have 4 over 3. So for A is done. 4 over 3 is the gradients. And then afterwards, you have to find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of the straight lines. Okay. I sketch it for you to have a visualization parts. Let's say you have something like this. Okay, the gradient is 4 over 3. The gradient is 4 over 3. Positive, meaning it's inclining, meaning it should be something like this. It should be something like this. Okay, incline. Not something like this, because it's positive. Okay, incline, and then the y-intercept is negative 8. So I know I have to draw like this because y-intercept, this one is negative 8. X-intercept is 6. Here 6 I sketched the graph already. This is x-axis is at P, so this is basically P. This is Q. PQ. Now you have to find the perpendicular bisector, the equation. Okay, now I look at the graph. Perpendicular bisector, I assume is only on P and Q. Perpendicular bisector, I assume is on P and Q. So let's say we want to find the perpendicular bisector, you have another line, cut off PQ into equal parts. Left side bisector, right? So left hand side the dimension and right hand side is the same. And also it form a 90 degree. So we are looking for the equation for this red line. So to find the equation, you need to have the gradients, right? Can we have the gradients? Since we know the gradient for PQ equals to 3 over 4, is that true, or 4 over 3? Or 4 over 3, sorry. 4 over 3. Can we find the gradient for this red line, perpendicular bisector? Yes, because the gradient 1 multiplied with the gradient 2, both lines, always equals to negative 1 when you have perpendicular lines across each other. So M1 is 4 over 3 multiplied by M2 equals to negative 1. M2 equals to negative 3 over 4. Okay, we know the gradients. Then we need to know the coordinates in order to form the equations. Do we know any coordinates for this red line? No, you don't, but you have this intercepting point. This is the midpoint for PQ, okay? Perpendicular bisector. So if we find the midpoint for PQ, we have the coordinates. The midpoint of PQ, P is, what is the coordinate for P? 6, 0. Coordinate for Q, 0, negative 8. So X, X1, X2, X 6 plus 0 divided by 2. Y1, Y2, 0 plus negative 8, 0 minus 8 divided by 2. Midpoint, 3, negative 4. Okay, M, and also we can have Y minus negative 4 equals to negative 3 over 4 X minus 3. Y 6, 0, correct? 0, negative X. So Y minus negative 4 equals to negative 3 over 4 bracket X minus 3. Y plus 4 equals to negative 4 over X plus 9 over 4. And the final answer should be 9 over 4 minus 4. Negative 7 over 4. Okay, this is the equation of the perpendicular bisector. Okay, 24. Right, did we skip any questions? No, Okay. 3 fair coins are tossed simultaneously. H denotes the events of obtaining hits, T for Q. P represents the probability of success of obtaining hits. Q is the failure. So if let's say it's failure, meaning Q is for tail, because it's either head or tail. So it's P is for the probability of hits, then Q is for the probability of success rate for tail. It's either head or tail. Okay, now we need to list all the possible sample space for 3QP squared. So you have to understand this. There are 3 scenarios of having 1Q and 2P. 1Q means 1T and 2H. Am I right? P squared, 2H, so THH, 3 case scenario. Can we all list it out? Of course. Sample space is either THH or HTH or HHT. This is the sample space, 3 different scenarios. Okay? With equal chances, but you have 3 different scenarios. Okay, this is for A. And then now we have to plot the binomial distribution graph. Of course, we're referring to the head, because P is the success rate of hits. Q is a failure of obtaining hits. So it's not tail, but we know it's about tail. So this one is about the graph of hits. Binomial distribution graph. So you have to draw the graph, binomial distributions. So vertical axis. Okay. So this is the probability when x equals to x, and this is x. Now we are talking about the success rate of head. So when you throw it, 3 coins. When you throw it and flip it, what are the possible cases? It could be P x equals to 0. You don't have any hits, so it could be 0. So what is the chances of 0? Meaning you have tail. You have tail, meaning is the chances 1 over 2, right? The chances of getting hits or getting tail is 1 over 2. So 1 over 2 multiply by itself, so 1 over 2 cubed. So TTT, the success rate, the probability is 1 over 8. So you draw like this, or I use different color. Okay, for 0 to get 0 hits, the chances is 1 over 8. Okay, how about to get 1 hit? 1 hit, it could be H, T, 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 H, or T, H, T. 3 different scenarios. One scenario, how many? 1 over 2 multiplied by 1 over 2 multiplied by 1 over 2. You know this is 1 over 8. 1 over 8, this is also 1 over 8, this is also 1 over 8. So the chances is 3 over 8. Okay, that is Px equals to 1. Now how about Px equals to 2? So you have 2 hits. It's either HTH, HHT, or THH. So this is the same with x equals to 1. So x equals to 1, so the probability is the same. And then the last ones, x equals to 3. Px equals to 3. All hits. All hits, meaning hits. 1 over 2, 1 over 2, 1 over 2, 1 over 8. This is the graph. It could be 0, it could be 1, it could be 2, it could be maximum 3, because there are only 3 coins flipping at the same time. Okay, this is the binomial distribution graph. And here comes the last questions. Okay, diagram 25 shows a position of 6 pictures consisting of mother, father, 3 daughters, and a son on the wall of a house. Okay, so you have 2 rows, the top and the bottom. Find the number of possible arrangements. Possible arrangements. No restriction. You can arrange anyhow you want. So you have 6 empty boxes. You have 6 persons. 6p6. 6 factorial. You have 720. This is basically bonus 25A. No restrictions. So 6 factorial. Okay, now we look at 25B, the number of possible arrangement if a balanced image is arranged in the top row. So these two are for parents. Okay, and 3 daughters have to arrange next to each other. Okay, we look at part by part. Now we look at the top part first. The top part. The top part, as we know, there are only 2 boxes, 2 slots. 2 slots. So these 2 slots are for parents. For parents are father or mother. So we look at the first one first. First one. So how many ways of arranging it? It could be father or mother. So 2 ways. 2 ways. After we arrange one person here, you want to arrange the second person. So how many ways? You have only 1 way. Because if you have the father on the first one, you have mother on the second one. If you have mother on the first one, you have father on the second one. So 2, 1, the number of ways. Okay, this is on top. Now on the bottom, you have 4 slots. You have 4 slots. But now, since the 3 daughters have to sit next to each other, you have to tie them together. You have to group them together. So, assuming there are only 2 slots, since 3 daughters being grouped together as 1. Okay, so only 2 slots. Okay, it could be either these are the daughters on the right and then the son on the left, or the other way around. Okay, so we don't care whether the daughter amongst themselves they will switch the place or not. We don't care first. We only look at the 3 girls and 1 boy. Can they swap places? Yes, they can. So we look at the first slot here. So we have two ways. It's either the daughters, 3 daughters, or either the son. And here only 1 way Okay. And now we look within the daughter. Let's say the daughter are here. Among the daughter themselves, they can switch places. So the first slot is how many girls? 3. So 3 people, 3 ways. After 1 people sitting down, you have 2 ways, and the last one 3 ways. Okay, so if you understand this correctly, that would be here 2 factorial multiplied by 2 factorial. Okay, the first 2 factorial, this one, amongst parents, multiplied by second factorial among 3 girls and the sons. And the last 3 factorial is among the daughter themselves. And by having that, you should have 2 factorial, 2 factorial, you should have 2, 2, 4, 6, 24. 24 ways of arranging it. And that's all. That's all for this paper. This is Batu Pahat paper 1 at Max Trial 2020. So let me know if you want any other MX paper or Max paper to be reviewed and discussed. Let me know, so I will go through that, and I'll see you all in the next lessons. Thank you.